Huh, what's Emily up to?
Oh, he's cute.
Oh, she's great.
What is that?
Is that a cat? Yeah, it's a cat.
Sick.
Flawless.
Abs.
She looks beautiful.
Some of these people I don't even know.
I gotta unfollow these people.
Okay.
I'm bored.
The whole thing is fucked.
We're being fed this constant barrage of unrealistic expectations. You've got to be this individualistic unit of perfection with a perfect face, a perfect waist, a perfect holiday, a perfect breakfast. And that's selfie culture. The idea that there is this perfect golden you is simply not true.
Selfies could be negative if you get focused on that perfection aspect of it. Like if you're really wanting it to be like perfect and this situated right.
I know a lot of like children who grew up in homes where like their own mothers would tell them, oh, you would look so much better if you had like eyelid surgery or if you got a nose job.
It isn't always what it seems. I do it too. Like I just got a new car and I posted it on Facebook.
I mean, it's not every day that we get a new car.
But a lot of people don't know that I had to get into an accident to get that car. You know?
You've got to be a hustler now. You've got to push yourself forward. You've got to prioritise yourself over other people. And you've got to be this individualistic unit. So a common theme seems to be people setting overly high expectations for themselves and then failing to meet them. And when they fail to meet them over and over again, they enter this state of despair, which can manifest in all kinds of different self-destructive behaviours. Suicide is up in lots of groups. Self-harm is up. Eating disorders are up.
I just felt like I was in this funk in multiple areas of my life, but I just felt like Instagram and like social media was bringing me down even more because I was looking at like I felt like I was like missing out and like not having all of these like amazing vacations and fun, and like ultimately for me I feel like it's not that healthy. Yeah.
Social media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't understand the selfie culture without understanding the self-esteem movement that came before it. This crazy idea came about in the late 80s and early 90s that in order to free ourselves of all these social problems, everything from drug abuse to domestic violence to teenage pregnancy, we just had to believe we were special and amazing. John Vasconcellos becomes a very powerful politician in the early to mid-80s. He managed to persuade the legislature to give him a self-esteem task force and $750,000 to research this idea, which was hugely controversial. He promised the legislature, when you increase self-esteem, people just blossom and become amazing, and it was like a vaccine. And 3 years later, he announces the results. They're in. The scientists agree with me. There is a causative link. Everybody jumps on it. Oprah announces that self-esteem is going to be the catch-all phrase of the 1990s. You see the beginnings of the Keep Fit revolution. You have to look good.
I thought I'd never fit into these jeans again. Thank you, Thigh Master.
It changed the way we raise our children. It changed the way we taught our children. And so the idea became protect our children from failure, build their self-esteem.
They were telling me that it didn't really matter whether a child could spell, just so long as they felt good.
Now, this idea was false. The scientists did not rubber stamp his beliefs. It was actually a lie propagated by the Self-Esteem Task Force. But the idea became viral. We tell these newborn millennials they're amazing and special and wonderful. And not only are you special and amazing, but you deserve to be treated as if you are special and amazing. And that is a definition of narcissism. Narcissists believe that they deserve to be treated differently from other people. What you see in the data from the early 90s, when the self-esteem movement really blossomed, is that you see wobbles in the rates of narcissism in young people, and then it starts to rise. Then it keeps rising. That's one of the ways that the millennial generation was built.
Put the blame where it belongs, on the self-esteem movement.
Nobody's stronger than me.
Nobody has better toys than I do. Nobody respects women more than I do.
There's nobody bigger or better.
Nobody's better
than Donald Trump.
I am your voice.
The big dominant lie of our times is that to win the race, to get your dream, you just have to want it badly enough. This goes against all of the scientific literature. You've been made to feel you're broken, but you're not broken. The real story of life is mostly we fail at things. That hopefully should inspire a level of humility, really.
My mom and I were just talking about this, how she does make me feel like the world revolves around me. Even though we were kind of raised that way and we can't really help it, we try our best to appreciate ourselves and have high self-esteem while at the same time, being respectful of others and not going overboard.
Selfies allow you to figure out and express who you are as a person, and I have some pretty wicked scars that sharing selfies of it has been pretty validating to find ways to come to terms with the skin that I have to live in forever. It's been a lot more validating than just trying to be perfect all the time.
Sometimes I'll just aimlessly go through Facebook on my phone. So recently I just deleted it from my phone. So then I'm forced to not look at it, and it's helped.
It's hard.
It's hard to push back against your own culture.
We still need to be loved, and we're not getting it in actual life, so we're just taking it into our virtual reality. But if you make that connection with other people, it's way more satisfying than that one like or 100 likes. Go out and touch hearts as opposed to touch your screen.